Good morning, traders. Matt Weller here, Global Head of Research with FOREX.com. Today is Monday, the 24th of August, 2026, and in today's video, I'll break down everything that you need to know ahead of today's U.S. session. Let's get right into it. Looking ahead, probably the biggest development of the day will be a speech at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in which U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent will announce the toughest ever sanctions on Iran as the war shifts from more of a hot war to a economic waiting game here. The key question for traders is how broad will these sanctions stretch, and crucially, will it impact China, the world's second largest economy? And we do have President Xi coming to Washington to meet President Trump in about 1 month's time. So that could kick up some of the geopolitical tensions there. And I think that's really what the market will react to when we get that announcement. As far as where markets are heading into the U.S. session, indices are ticking lower. Oil is falling 2%. The U.S. dollar and gold are both edging higher. Looking back to this weekend, though, the biggest development was the breakdown, and rather acrimonious breakdown, in trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. As a result, the threatened 50% tariffs on $20 billion of Canadian exports to the U.S. have gone into effect. Canada, for its part, has vowed to retaliate. And of course, a flare-up in trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada is leading to weakness in the Canadian dollar. More on that momentarily. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, the highlights will be probably on Wednesday when we'll get NVIDIA and core PCE. Both of those could be major market moving events from the AI trade perspective and macro inflation Fed policy. And speaking of Fed policy, on Friday at 10 a.m., the Fed chairman will be speaking at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium, a speech that might carry even more weight after some of the moves that we've seen from the Treasury last week. So lots to play for this week, and you'll definitely want to keep it pinned here for updates as we move through the week. Today's chart of the day is the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar here on a 4-hour chart. You can see it had been trending lower, but now we've got a big spike indicating weakness in the Canadian dollar, or strength relative to its the US dollar's northern neighbor. However, I will also highlight here that we're approaching resistance, a level of previous support, and the top of that bearish channel comes in around 38.50. That'll be a key line in the sand to watch early this week. If we break above that, I think it clears the way for a continuation toward 139.50 next. And meanwhile, if that resistance level holds, maybe if there's some progress between the US and Canada on trade talks, that's where we could see the dollar's long-term downtrend against the Canadian dollar continue. That is today's video. Thank you for carving a couple minutes out of your day to watch. If I could ask just one favor though before you go, please do drop a like on this video. It's a great free way to show your support that helps us with the algorithms. And if you're not already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at FOREX.com for more videos like this. Thanks again, and best of luck with your trading today.